Hey, hello, and welcome back to another episode at MSA. Glad you could be here. So glad to see you. You know, I've been dreading this. I don't want to do it, but I have to do it. And I've been kicking it around. But we got to talk about it. It's Hunter Biden. I know. I get it. We've all heard so much about him for so long. We're not going to do what everybody else is doing because everybody else is just running with the immediate. Oh, look. We're doing part of that, but you'll see. Okay, do us a favor. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's get going on that part. I really need your help with that. This channel needs to grow. We've got to reach more people, and there's a lot of suppression out there on these types of words that are going to come out today. So let's just get into all this. Okay, so a month ago, Hunter Biden shows up on the steps across the street from where he's supposed to be having a deposition hearing. We've all heard about that. If you haven't heard about that, you're going to hear a little bit about it right now. So Hunter gets up there and he decides he wants to make this speech. And if you listen to the speech carefully, it's going to touch on every single point that needs to be made to counteract everything that the left has been doing to Donald Trump. Honestly, everything. Right in the beginning, this is a MAGA thing, blah, blah, blah. No, Hunter, where have you been, buddy? You haven't been drug in and out of courts for over a year now. You haven't been spending millions upon millions of dollars on attorneys all across the nation on a witch hunt. They're coming after you, Hunter, because what they found is actual real stuff against you. That's why they're coming after you. But let's get into this a little deeper. Hunter talks about how he's a son and a father and a this and that. You know, I get it, buddy. But at the same time, I'm a father too, and I don't show my daughter respect as a woman by going out with all kinds of prostitutes and everything like that. I really don't show my daughter respect by sleeping with my dead brother's wife. You know, I know when you did that, I get you were on drugs and all that kind of stuff, but when your parents came out and said, we totally support Hunter and whatever her name was, in her time of need, and he was there for her, and it's so awesome. Are you joking right now? He's sleeping with your dead son's widow. If that doesn't just scream weird to begin with, but then again, you know, Jill and Joe started out their relationship by Jill was cheating on her spouse that she had at the time to get with Joe. And then she says how she backed him behind his political career and all that stuff. The reason she could say that is because Joe's wife had been in a car accident and died with his daughter. And there's no joke about that. And that's sad for anyone. Doesn't matter. And Hunter and Beau Biden were in the hospital. And he had to swear into the Senate in the hospital. How is Jill behind any of this if that just happened while he was still married? You get the point? The whole family started out on the wrong foot. That's my point on that. Okay, anyway, let's get back into Hunter. So Hunter's up there. He's giving this wonderful speech talking about how, you know, the Trump's coming after him for this and that's that and the whole shebang. And if this was the case, you know, he's been under investigation for over 5 years. You have. And the problem that no one's talking about is the fact that David Weiss used to work with your dead brother, who was the Attorney General of Delaware back in the day. And Weiss and him worked hand in hand on a lot of cases together. So then when Weiss picked up your case, why do you think you're not in prison? You should have already been in prison. You should have been in prison years ago, actually, because what you had done back then violated massive laws across the United States and international laws. So I just don't understand your speech, and I'm glad you got up to give it and you feel better about it. But what we're also going to talk about is the fact that Hunter decided to show up at this committee hearing the other day and plant his little buns down in a seat so he can make a spectacle of everything, which is honestly one of the biggest disrespectful things you could possibly do. Could you imagine? I want you to really think about this. Let's just talk real quick. Okay. You have a warrant for your arrest. Well, no, we can't say a warrant for your arrest. You were supposed to come in for questioning on a big trial. And so instead, you show up at a trial in front of the same judges and everything that wanted to talk to you to begin with. The same prosecuting attorneys, the same everybody that wanted to do it just to show that you could show up and you could walk out the room. What are you proving? You're proving how double-sided the Department of Justice for this country really, truly is, because you should not be walking around right now, buddy. That's just a plain fact. You should be in prison. But Merrick Garland loves your daddy too much to throw you in jail. I promise. But it'll all come out eventually. I mean, as all of this comes forward and we get through the elections and the whole 9 yards, there's going to be so much coming out that I'll be doing 4 to 5 segments a day just to try to keep up with half of this stuff. But you know what we want to do? We want to run a clip real quick because there is a Congress lady out there, and her name is Victoria Sparks. And you always get to see Marjorie Taylor Greene, and you get to see, Jim Jordan, and all, you know who. You see a lot of those guys. They have a lot of attention. Victoria Sparks is a Ukrainian by birth, but an American in her soul. She lives in our country. She's a congresswoman. She's a blessing to us. And one of the things I love about her, man, it's not that she just spits out things disrespectfully. She speaks a lot of truth, and she really lets it be known how she feels about things on a very professional level. So we're going to run this clip real quick and let you see what she has to say about this Hunter Biden stuff. And then we'll come back and do a little commentary at the end. All right? We look forward to seeing you in a second. All right.
Mr. Chairman, I want to make a couple of brief remarks on just some of the issues that were brought up from other side and then kind of get to the subject. No, honestly, I agree. Last Congress, the other side passed a lot of very bad bills. I don't think quantity of bills is a good legislation, and actually wasted a lot of money. And unfortunately, they had control on the whole houses and presidency and were able to do a lot of bad legislation and not dealing with the real issues affecting Americans, crushing debt, inflation, and the spending, and what's happening in our border is very destructive for our country. And they don't want to do, and they don't even want to find bipartisan agreement on these issues, this Congress, which is very sad for me to see. I know there is a lot of discussions about, January 6th, and I've been in the chamber January 6th, and I'll tell you something, we call this insurrection. I'll have to tell you, if the people that show up there wanted to do it, they would have succeeded, but they didn't show up for that reason. It was people that were upset because the quality of people came there. They were mad because we are not governing for the people. And that's unfortunately what was very strange to me, that Speaker Pelosi didn't have a security. Speaker Pelosi insisted for us to stay in the chamber, where I personally demanded to leave that chamber. So a lot of things, the other side dropped the ball. And it was very unfortunate for me to see that. So I think this is beyond the subject of this matter, but we need to stop, accusing people that disagree with the government that been very corrupt and oppressive, to actually come here and, express peacefully their dissatisfaction. And there are always some bad players, and who knows who they are. But we don't call all people insurrectionists. This is just un-American to do it. And I'm sick and tired of the other side constantly doing it, because I knew a lot of people that were there in the crowd, and they're good Americans, patriotic, that love this country. But go further. I know that maybe, Chairman Issa said it might be a waste of time, and Hunter Biden is going to invoke the Fifth Amendment. But you know what? What he's doing right now, beyond that, it is a blatant disregard of congressional subpoena. That's how he does. He actually dares enough. No other American would show up actually in the face, of Congress and defy and say, I'm going to decide how things are going to happen. This is just disrespectful. Only someone who thinks a little too much of himself would go actually do something. People might disagree, fighting in the courts, but not in the face. As Representative Bishop said, that is actually extremely disrespectful to this institution to do what he is doing. And if we look at the matter of the fact, we can debate and try to get attention to other issues and deliberate. But ultimately, I think that should be, and Representative Moran said that is setting up a very bad precedent. If the other side decide, that somebody can just act like that with the Congress, they might shoot themselves in the foot, because next Congress, there could be something different, and they will be on the other side, because we're setting up a precedent, but somebody's going to decide if they're going to comply or not of the deposition subpoena. And I don't think this institution, should allow that happen. If this is a very serious impeachment inquiry, if Hunter Biden wants to explain what's happened, he has a chance to come. And it's not like in a deposition you have just one side. You have both sides, equal amount of time. Everything can be questioned. So it's a very bipartisan process, but not a 5-minute presentation that will just go until he do just here for 5 minutes talking points with his lawyers. And it's not going to really get to the subject matter, because subject matter at stake, it's extremely serious. I think we should start taking actually impeachment inquiries and proceedings much more seriously than the other side did. It's not a politics, it's not a joke. We're a serious institution, and I do not think people think that way here now. And it's unfortunately what we became. We became a circus, entertainment, and talking points, and not really looking at issues seriously. It's sad for me to see, and I think this is a reflection, on where we are heading as a republic, and it's a sad reality. But we have to decide, are we going to be adults in the room instead of looking at the issues, or we're just going to do presentations here? So I think if we go to the narrow matter of the discussion, do we allow anyone to defy the congressional subpoena? And the other sides will have to make a decision how they're going to vote for that. But they might regret that they're doing politics right now. So I hope they will rethink this and support in this resolution. So I yield back.
I told you, she's awesome. I love hearing her talk, and for some people, I'm sure it's hard to understand some of the words that she says because she has such a thick Ukrainian accent, but the legitimacy of what she's saying is the value. Okay. If you need to, rewind it again, put on the captions or whatever you need to do to listen to what she says and be able to see those words. It's very important. When she talks about January 6th, you've got to remember she's from Ukraine. Okay. She straight up said, if the people coming there wanted to do it, they would have done it. They would have succeeded in taking over the Capitol. They didn't come there for that reason. And she still doesn't understand why the Speaker Pelosi kept them in the chambers. What is that all about? Again, she is a congresswoman. She didn't understand. She had to demand that they let her go because she wanted to leave. She didn't understand why Pelosi was keeping everybody in the building. See, because remember, when that was happening, January 6th wasn't happening yet. So Pelosi had to keep him in the building. There's a little clue right there. Okay, now, when she gets in about Hunter Biden and thumbing his nose and how disrespectful it is and everything to that institution, did you notice what she said afterwards? That there's parts in there that really take effect, and it's how serious they should be taking impeachments, how serious they should be taking these other hearings, these matters, these bills, and quit being so passive, quit pacifying everything, basically, and just making it skip right along and having disputes between one another and the whole 9 yards. Because, honestly, as an American citizen, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. I'm getting tired of all of the nonsense in the speeches. I watched the thing on this whole Hunter Biden issue, and you had people in the committee hearing trying to talk, and of course the other side, let's just put it as it is. When the Republicans were trying to speak, the Democrats kept jumping up to say things, kept jumping in, kept talking, kept overriding, kept talk. And it sounds, it was almost like a playground, High school debates have more respect for their opponents than some of our Congress folk do. And it's getting ridiculously out of hand, and I'm getting tired of seeing these people get voted in, and I don't know how they keep getting voted in because half of them don't do a good job. They really don't. They stand behind bills. You've got bills on Schumer's desk that have been sitting there for how long? Months upon months upon months. to help benefit our country. You don't like the bill, send it back, but don't let it just sit there and rot, And I'm sure there's things sitting on Mike Johnson's desk right now that was there from the former Speaker McCarthy that haven't moved. What are we doing with the country? Let's get it moving. But we need to really stop doing with the country? Letting people like Hunter Biden walk around because he's related to Joe. Joe couldn't even remember on the New Year's Eve party that his favorite thing is ice cream. Jill had to tell him. It's getting bad. This is getting ridiculously out of hand. Why are we spending so much tax dollars and money so we can have a judiciary committee continue to talk about Hunter Biden? I got an idea. Take the Capitol Guard, send him over, snatch his little butt up, put him in a cell, literally put him in a cell, check the cell, make sure he doesn't drop his Coke while he's in there, and sit him down and make him speak with his attorney in the room. Make it happen. Quit all this pussyfooting around. We already know we have the evidence on him. We already know that the Ukraine's part is dirty, big time. We already know that Joe's been sending over hundreds of millions of dollars to help support the Ukrainian war. But how much of that is supporting the war versus the government itself? That's the big question. The main thing about this whole thing is the fact that when you have people like Hunter Biden running around, and it's been going on for years, when is enough enough? When does it stop? Why do we keep hearing about this guy? How is he able to get up and walk out of that judiciary hearing the other day and Capitol Guard didn't get him and pull him back in so they could sit him down and explain to him how serious it is? Because, the hard part is about all of this is Biden is an attorney, meaning Hunter is an attorney, supposed to be. So you're telling me that an attorney can completely disrespect the law? Let me hear it in the comments. What do you think about all of this? I think Hunter should just go. Grab him, put him away, do whatever you need to do with the guy. We've seen so much of this, it just needs to end. It's taking up too much airtime, too much blocking, Why do I say that? Again, I asked this on one of our other segments. Did you know the FCC had a ruling that now the government can be involved with our broadband? Did you know that? Because all of this fluff that we keep seeing is taking up the time of the real issues that you're not getting to see. That passed in November of last year. I didn't find out about it until January of this year. That's how much fluff is going on. So, comment and like, share, and subscribe. We really look forward to seeing you on another episode. We really appreciate you tuning in today, tonight, whatever it is, wherever you are. And we thank you for everything that you do to help support us. All right? You take care. We'll see you again. Thanks.